Hi, everyone. Ivana Taylor here, and I want to welcome you to the Monday edition of Bizapalooza Chat. So we are more than 10 years in. I can't even believe we are 10 years in and 2.5 billion people into the world of social media marketing. And the most popular question remains, how do I make money using social media? Well, there are as many answers to that question as there are experts. And today we're going to have one of the foremost, most popular experts on the topic. I'm so excited. She is the #1 social media power influencer in Houston. She's the host of the popular Twitter Smarter Chat. That is a must attend for anyone and everyone. I love that chat. And she also hosts the weekly social ROI chat with Managed Flitter. So please welcome our lovely guest, Madeline Sklar. I want to put the camera on you, Madeline.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I love everything you're doing. So great.
Oh, I don't know. I learned from the best, and I believe that's you. You are the queen of Twitter engagement, social media engagement, and community, and you also really know how to make money on the topic, right? Because this is like so critical with small business owners know that social media is important, but the question still remains, how do I make money? So could you please explain what is social media ROI and what's an easy way to look at ROI? Maybe you can give us some examples.
Well, social ROI is really just proving your return on investment, right? Like we spend time on social media, we spend dollars on social media, and we really dedicate ourselves to this, but you got to look at what's working and what's not. And sometimes, we think, oh, if we just go and invest in Facebook ads, we're going to get this return, right? You hear these stories of brands that like, oh yeah, we put in $5,000 in ads and we made $50,000 on our product. And that doesn't work for everyone. You have to experiment, you have to test, you have to try things to see what works. But at the end of the day, you're on these social media platforms to connect with people, right? It's all about people. And so I get on there and I'm on there to have a discussion, to chat, to get to know people. And through that process, they get to know, like, and trust me. So then when I have a program, like I have this new program right now, Mastermind for Women, teaching them how to use video and live streaming video. Well, because I built a community of people, they know, like, and trust me, that when I put that program out there, way more people signed up than I really thought would sign up. And that really is a testament that hard work on social media can pay off. And when I say hard work, I'm meaning building relationships. People get wrapped up in these numbers. Well, I have 100,000 followers. Well, so what? Does that mean your 100,000 followers are all buying from you? I guarantee you they're not. So it's about the relationships. That story of the 1,000 true fans. I would rather have 1,000 true fans follow me on Twitter or follow me on Facebook and not get hung up with the tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, because it's really, they're empty numbers. They don't really mean anything.
Got it. So what you're saying is you've really got to focus on relationships. That's something that people were surprised that before, and I want to hear your story about this, because I know that before I launched Bizapalooza Chat, probably, I'm on Twitter all the time, but I hadn't visited a bunch of chats regularly, right? And so I had probably invested 6 to 9 months in doing nothing but showing up to different chats, right? So talk a little bit about that investment in social media, like when you were building Twitter Smarter and the social ROI chat. How much did you invest in building these relationships? Time-wise.
Right? Gosh, I spent hours and hours, and it is so critical. I can't just show up and say, "Hey, everybody, I'm here." Nobody cares. I've had so many people over the years say, "Madeline, I don't like Twitter. It's a ghost town." Well, it's a ghost town because you're not connecting with people. If you just get on there and say, "Hey, come chat with me. Hey, I want to talk." Nobody's listening. You got to go out and engage with people. And the best way is Twitter chats. I think Twitter chats are the most amazing way to get in front of a large group of people and have a conversation with like-minded people. So when I go in a Twitter chat that's, they're talking about business strategies and that I can relate to, then we've got something in common before I even start talking. So this makes for a great platform to connect with people. Now, I spend a lot of hours going on Twitter chats. Part of it is to just see which ones resonate best with me. I'll have a list of, some chats I want to go check out and see what is it like? What are the people like? And I have to get on there and engage. The thing is about Twitter chats that there's so many lurkers. And you know this because you've been running this incredible chat long enough to know that there are always a lot of lurkers. And I don't mean lurkers in the negative. When we hear that word, we think of very negative. But there are people that are there and they might be having a great time learning, but they don't say anything. And if they don't say anything, we don't know they're there. So I always encourage people, when you're on a Twitter chat, just say hi. Come on at the beginning and introduce yourself, say hi. If you don't feel like you can contribute to the conversation, because so many people tell me, well, Madeline, they're having this amazing conversation. I'm not smart enough to contribute. And it's like, well, you don't have to necessarily contribute. Ask a question. Just get on there and ask a question related to what's being discussed. Get involved, because once you get involved, people will see you, and then that makes for a much better experience for you. But I have to get on a lot of different chats to see which ones resonate with me. And then once you find the best ones that work for you, you want to be a regular. You want to be consistent. You want to show up. And by doing that, everybody gets to know you. I like to equate that for all the old school people out there. It's like Norm from the TV show Cheers, where everybody knows your name. If you ever watched that show, every time Norm came to the bar, he walked in, everybody go, Norm. Well, that's how I see the first 10 minutes of a Twitter chat. We're all saying our hellos. We're all like, hey, Norm, good to see you again. And it's such a warm, fuzzy feeling. You know this. It is awesome. That's what makes Twitter chats so great. I really prefer a chat where we get that opportunity versus right at the top of the hour, they go right into, let's just hop in. Not knocking that, but I like having that opportunity to say hello to people, and especially to catch up with people if I've become a regular. I think it's really powerful. I think Twitter chats are more powerful than people realize.
And you bring up an important point, because my next question is, I'm going to start talking about measuring ROI, but then I talk about, yes, there's number of followers that you have, or, how many people click on your link. Those are the obvious ones. But what
Sure.
I thought would be fun to chat with you about are the not so obvious ones. For example, and I'm trying to crack this code, right? I have decided, I have this story that when a Twitter chat is really great, people show up early.
Yes.
I don't know what that is about that, but that is amazing. So, and that is one of these contextual feely things, I'm getting return, because
Right.
that tells me to me, and this is I could be totally wrong, but to me, when I see people showing up early, it says these people are excited. They can't wait, and they want to get that extra time to connect. So what are some other ways? I see you nodding, so that must be something to that. What are some other contextual ROI things that you might look out for?
Yeah, because it definitely goes beyond well, how many followers does someone have? Somebody comes on the chat, what do? We go look at their profile, we look at their bio, we want to see who they are. I don't look at their numbers, because to me, it's not about, oh, they got all these followers, because it just goes back to what I was saying before. It can be really meaningless. In the early days of Twitter and most social media, a lot of people were buying followers, and they, got up to these crazy numbers, and then they stopped. Thank God, most people are not paying for that anymore. But it doesn't mean anything if you're not converting. Right? If it doesn't convert to sales, it doesn't convert to real connections with people, then it doesn't matter. But I'm looking at other things. I'm looking at the reach, right? Am I reaching enough people? When I do a tweet, is it going far and wide? What about the engagement from my audience? Are they engaging with this? Maybe my tweets are not very engaging. I got to look at this, because I want to put out stuff that's engaging. Are these tweets driving traffic to my website? Am I getting people over to my site? Is it getting me leads? Lead generation is important here. when I have a program that's available and I'm tweeting about it, are people coming over and signing up for it? We want to look at these things. Are we getting revenue from this? Very important to look at. So it's not just how many followers and how many likes. It goes way beyond that. So I think it's important to look at that.
That's fantastic. So let's talk about, I think you've kind of touched on these goals that you could measure, right?
Yes.
And maybe some of our small business owner friends, I think they really struggle with what should be the ratio of how do I engage with folks versus pitching a product or a service? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, when we're out there on Twitter and really any social media platform, what I have found that absolutely works is you can still pitch your products. You can still post your blog posts. I think it's great to post your content, and it helps you get seen as an industry leader. But on the flip side, you need to just be talking to people. You need to listen. Social listening is so important. You got to listen to conversations and find opportunities to jump into conversations and talk to people. One of the things I did years ago, a colleague of mine so it's kind of an interesting story. A colleague of mine reached out, and she was looking to hire me for some coaching consulting with her PR business back when I was in the music business. But she knew I was really venturing into social media as a business, and she wanted some help. So the first thing I did is I went and looked at her profiles. And in her Facebook profile, I saw that she had posted this article about this band from back in the 80s called the Go-Go's. I don't know if you remember that band, the Go-Go's, all-female group. And it was an article about them, and it was an interesting article. And it mentioned one of the members in particular in this article. I thought, oh, I wonder if she's on Twitter. So I go to Twitter, I look this former rock star up, and she was actively tweeting. And I thought, I wonder if she'll tweet with me. I wonder if I just come on there and listen to her conversations, could I jump in and talk to a rock star? And I've, found the opportunity. You don't want to be pushy. You don't want to just jump in. You want to listen. And she had tweeted out saying something about a Sean Penn movie. She wanted to know if people had seen this movie. And I had just seen that movie. So I thought, okay, here's my opportunity. So I replied to her tweet and mentioned that I saw the movie, and we started a conversation. And we went back and forth for an hour talking about the music business, talking about her upcoming shows in my area. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm talking to a rock star from the 80s. How could I ever have an opportunity like this? It was because of Twitter. It was because not only am I using Twitter to promote my business, to promote my products, promote my podcast. I have 2 podcasts. I have 2 Twitter chats. I go all out. I think you know that about me. I go all out. But I'm also able to talk to big people. I'm talking to a rock star. I talked to another rock star doing the same method. I've talked to Gary Vaynerchuk, who's a big deal, right? He's written all these best-selling books. He's leader in the social media marketing space. You have the ability to do this, but you have to listen to the conversations and find that opportunity. Because what most people will do is they'll just jump in and say something that's usually awkward to these big people, right? And instead, you listen and find that opportunity to have a real conversation.
That is an awesome tip, because what I think I got from you is this idea of wait for your moment. You're right. People want to jump in and say something, and then you don't know what to say. And here I thought it was just like me being a doofus and socially awkward, right? And not knowing what to say. But I think waiting is the key. The other thing that I think is a key that we'll wrap up with is tools. Let's talk a little bit about tools that could not only help you listen, but maybe help you measure. And what should you be measuring, and how does that work?
Absolutely. Now, there are so many tools out there these days. And the thing is that there are plenty of tools that are all in one that you can just use and gets you everything you need. And I'm a fan of that. But what I found is that when I want to get my analytics for Twitter, I just go to twitter.com, because actually Twitter provides really good analytics, and you can access them right on a browser. It has to be on a browser, not mobile, but you can go to your browser, go into the settings, and you'll see in the pull down menu analytics, or analytics.twitter.com. I love getting my information from there, because getting it natively is always the best way to go. I do the same thing at Facebook. Go into my pages, go into the insights. I get lots of great information there. Instagram, if you have the business account, through the app, you can get really great insights. When it comes to getting the results from my hashtag for my Twitter Smarter Chat, I use a tool called Social Alert, socialalert.net. And actually it's Social Alert. So it's like SOCIALERT is how they spell it. And that's been really helpful. But then there's also Brand24. And I can get a lot of data by just going to Brand24, going to Manage Flitter, going to Agora Pulse. These are tools that I use every day, and they all provide great analytics. So those are the ones that I recommend because I use them daily.
Okay, in 10 seconds or less, give me the top 3 things any small business owner should do to get started measuring their ROI.
Well, okay. So to measure, you need to have a place to go get your analytics. So you need to look at these different places and find the ones that work best for you. It might be Brand24 gets you everything you need. So, go look at these different platforms that offer the analytics, find the ones that resonate with you. Many times they have either a free version, but it doesn't give you a whole lot of information. And then they have the paid, which will just open up and explode with more data than you can imagine. But they usually have a free trial, like for maybe 2 weeks or so. So go check those out and try them out. Find what works best for you. Because again, I like using Twitter and Facebook natively. Those work for me. But then I also like to use Brand24, almost like an overview kind of thing, right? So I can go to Brand24 and get like an overview, but then I can really hone in on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. So I recommend those. That's what works for me. But if it doesn't work for you, word of mouth. Super helpful as well. See what your colleagues, ask them what are they using. You'll be amazed. There's it just goes back to so many different tools out there these days. It seems like there's a new analytic tool popping up every day. You probably have noticed. I get an email just about every day from a new company saying, hey, will you try my tool, my analytics tool?
Absolutely. Well, that's all we have for you today. Hopefully you're going to get all of Madeline's great tips. Check her out on the chat starting right now. Go over to Twitter, search on #Bizapalooza chat and join the conversation and do the first thing that she said, engage and talk to us. Madeline, thank you so much for being here.
Ivana, thank you so much for having me. This has been so much fun. You are rocking it out there. I just love watching all the stuff you do.
Thanks, Madeline. We'll see you on the chat.